Welcome to this explainer. Settle in, take a steady breath, and let's bring our focus level all the right up to 100%. Today, our goal is absolute clarity. We are creating a serene, highly calculated space to demystify the exact methodologies you need to completely master Cambridge AS and A-Level Arabic Paper 2. We are going to strip away the guesswork, bypass the exam anxiety, and leave only pure actionable logic. Imagine a clean, dark mode digital canvas right in front of you. We are going to deconstruct the complex structures of this exam together, step by step, ensuring you know precisely how to navigate these papers with total serenity and control.
Okay, let's dive into this stark reality presented by a senior Cambridge examiner. When you see a quote like this, the immediate instinct for many is panic. But in this session, we don't do panic. We use this information to find the high ground. The difference between an average B grade and top-tier A-star mastery does not lie in how frantically you can write or how many vocabulary flashcards you have rigidly memorized. It lies entirely in the architecture of your understanding. When you are sitting in the exam hall and you are presented with a complex, high-tariff Arabic text of up to 750 words, you must learn to calmly peel back the filler words. You have to use a mental highlighter to isolate the exact assessment objectives, or AOs, that Cambridge demands. We aren't just reading a text, we are looking for the structural skeleton beneath it.
To truly understand this transition from a B to an A-star, we have to look closely at two very different mindsets. Let's imagine two scholars sharing our digital workspace today. We'll call them Alex and Sam. Alex represents the classic B-level approach. Alex is incredibly analytical and highly precise, but tends to crowd the page layouts with unstructured facts. When faced with a prompt, Alex's instinct is to rely entirely on rote memorization, rapidly writing down isolated quotes and definitions in a panicked rush. It's too crowded. There's no breathing room. Then we have Sam. Sam is creative and dynamic, representing the other end of the spectrum. But Sam is prone to losing focus on specific command word parameters, writing beautiful Arabic sentences that unfortunately drift away from what the examiner actually asked. The true A-star approach is the perfect synthesis of structure and focus. The syllabus explicitly states that top-performing students build cross-topic connections. They don't just dump facts. They establish clear causal relationships. They construct a calm, conceptual framework that transfers effortlessly to entirely unfamiliar contexts, never ever losing focus on the parameters set by the examiner.
To get you to that A-star level, here is our roadmap for today's session. We will cover 1. Core cognitive principles, 2. The procedural framework, 3. Evaluation and analysis, and 4. Top examiner warnings.
Let's move smoothly into Section 1, Core Cognitive Principles. We are going to examine the fundamental architecture of the exam.
Now, what is really fascinating about this breakdown is the zen of decoding command words. Cambridge rigorously tests 3 distinct cognitive domains, and understanding the difference between them is how you protect yourself from running out of time. The first domain is knowledge and understanding. This is your foundation, your absolute mastery of fundamental principles and definitions. But the jump happens at the second domain, analysis. This involves multi-stage analysis and data interpretation. Think of our scholar, Alex. If an examiner uses the command word analyze, Alex might just list facts. But analyze means taking the mechanism apart and showing the examiner the gears. It's a calm, methodical disassembly of the text. Then we reach the highest domain, evaluation. Here, you are no longer just taking the mechanism apart. You are stepping back, assessing the quality of the evidence provided, and drawing definitive logical conclusions. If the command word is evaluate, and you only analyze, you cap your grade. A calm structural approach to paragraph planning ensures you know exactly which domain you are currently operating in.
Theoretical knowledge alone is simply not enough. Let's bring Alex and Sam back into our conceptual workspace to assemble a model response paragraph. Imagine them debating the structural framing of their argument blocks. Alex says, "I'm going to map out the textbook definitions step by step to show I know the material." But Sam challenges this framework, saying, "If we just list definitions, we aren't answering the prompt. We need to include a clear, logical, evaluative link back to the main question." This serene, collaborative debate is exactly what needs to happen in your mind during the exam. They challenge each other's layout choices smoothly. They write out their sentences live on our mental screen to perfectly fit the mark scheme parameters. The principal examiner reports emphasize that true mastery means taking your knowledge, applying your analytical tools to completely new, unfamiliar data, and executing perfectly. It is all about absolute, unshakable adaptability. Which brings us beautifully to Section 2, the procedural framework. This is where we discuss executing the paper. All right, let's pause our on-screen handwriting animation for just a moment. Let's breathe and refocus. Before we write out our final top band paragraph structure and go through this 5-step sequence, make sure your daily study dashboard is complete. Subscribe to Ace the Exams right now and enable all notification alerts. Whether your target is an IGCSE, an O-level, or an AS and A-level A-star, this channel is your weekly space for stress-free exam mastery. Now let's look at this standardized 5-step sequence. Step 1, identify key elements. Step 2, apply relevant principles. Step 3, execute analysis with clear working. Step 4, verify results. Step 5, present in an appropriate format. Imagine our scholars encounter a structural roadblock mid-paragraph where their evidence drops out of alignment. Panic sets in, right? No. We apply this procedural flow. Memorizing and implicitly trusting the specific 5-step sequence is the key to maintaining your structure. It is your anchor when the text gets complicated. Let's look closely at the concept of method marks. This is quite literally your vital safety net. Method marks are marks awarded by the examiner for demonstrating the correct analytical process and showing clear working, regardless of whether your final answer is perfectly accurate. Let that sink in. This is the ultimate cure for exam anxiety. Showing your work step by step, meticulously proving your logic on the page, is just as critical as the final conclusion. It tells the examiner that you understand the mechanics of the question. Even if you misinterpret a word in that dense 750-word Arabic text, your method can save your grade. Never ever skip the process. The process is where the points live. Data interpretation isn't just about reading the text. It's about strict compliance. You're acting as a professional, securing every available mark by following presentation conventions. You must use proper headings, apply correct advanced terminology, use appropriate formats, provide clear annotation, and extract accurately from the texts. When your paragraph structure breaks down, you need a clear visual framework to restore balance to the text. We use the Peel structure. Point, evidence, explain, link. Imagine Alex and Sam writing the response out loud, line by line. First, the point, a clean, direct answer to the prompt. Then, evidence, a precise extraction from the text. Next, explain, their multi-stage analysis. Finally, link, a logical loop back to the command word. Following these strict conventions creates a pristine, high-scoring block of text that an examiner loves to read. Let's transition to Section 3, Evaluation and Analysis. We are now reaching for the top tier. Let's enter the practice arena. I want you to imagine Challenge 1, the mindful scan. Picture a highly complex Cambridge source text on your screen. A minimalistic circular graphic is counting down 60 seconds. Your task is to extract the single most high-yielding core trend while evaluating the evidence quality. To do this calmly, you apply these 4 filters. 1. Identify specific limitations in the text. What is the author omitting? 2. Note the assumptions being made by the writer. 3. Actively find alternative interpretations of the data. And 4. Assess exactly how these limitations affect the final conclusions. While the clock is ticking down, you aren't panicking. You are just methodically applying these 4 lenses. This ensures you are truly critiquing the structural integrity of the passage, elevating your answer from simple analysis up into that elite evaluative domain. Now for Challenge 2, the imperfect answer. Picture a flawed student paragraph on your screen comparing 2 related Arabic themes. Let's find exactly where the structural discipline breaks down and marks are lost. In this flawed paragraph, the student has written beautifully about how text A and text B are similar, but they stop there. That is the exact sentence where they lose the A-star. Top candidates know that comparative analysis requires identifying both similarities and differences. You must use clean highlighter strokes in your mind to map out the opposing viewpoints. Furthermore, you must actively use advanced comparative connectives to bridge these ideas. You must weigh their relative importance. You are not just summarizing, you are controlling the narrative of the comparison. Section 4. Top Examiner Warnings. Let's learn directly from the reports. These top 3 recurring mistakes from the principal examiner reports brilliantly illustrate exactly where focus drops and marks bleed away. Mistake number 1, using the wrong approach for the specific context given. This happens when you blindly apply a memorized structure without actually reading the nuances of the prompt. Mistake number 2, forgetting to check format and presentation conventions. This is purely a loss of focus. It's leaving out a heading or failing to properly cite an extraction. And mistake number 3, providing generic answers that lack specific context. You can write a gorgeous, poetic paragraph about an Arabic theme, but if it doesn't specifically reference the exact context and data of the provided passage, the examiner cannot give you the marks. Context is everything. Let's reinforce this mini-narrative one last time before we finish. Students lose marks by not showing working. Even if your final answer is wrong, method marks can save you.
In a high-pressure exam environment, the temptation is to rush straight to the end, to just get the answer on the page. But skipping your working and abandoning your step-by-step procedural framework is the absolute fastest way to drop from an A star to a B. Be like our idealized scholars. Take a breath, trust the framework, and let your logical methodology do the heavy lifting for you.
As we look at our completed, flawless response paragraph on this digital notebook, our focus meter is officially maxed out at 100%. To distill this entire masterclass into our systematic recipe recap, remember the 3 core focus pillars. First, the 3-step question scan for decoding command words. Second, the marks per minute flow formula for timing and securing method marks. And third, the final polish review pass to ensure perfect structural compliance. Going into your next practice paper, are you relying on rote memorization or are you actively applying the standardized sequence? The choice you make defines your grade. To keep your focus sharp, subscribe to Ace the Exams, click the notification bell for future focus deployments, and leave a comment below identifying the specific subject, tier, and target grade you are currently meditating on. Stay calm, trust the structure, and I'll see you in the next session.